The ModernJeeper Show, the show about Jeeps, Jeeping, and Jeepers.
Well, hey, Modern Jeepers, is another episode of the ModernJeeper Show with me, Matson from MetalCloak, and Mr. Modern Jeeper, Corey Osborne.
Hey, buddy.
And hey, Jesse's back. Hello, Rockstar
Hey.
Jeep Girl.
Great. I'm dusty. Well, I'm clean today. I just
You're-
got a little dusty this morning,
Right.
cleaning my
Tell-
Jeep out.
And tell us why you were dusty.
Well, I took a pretty good group of girls out on the RimRock Trail.
Pretty good. They were a pretty good group of girls.
They
They're
were
pretty.
good.
Wow. You know, they're going
It
to
was
hear
like
this.
room for improvement.
No,
This,
they're pretty
this
awesome.
is this is talking to them
I didn't want to
directly.
be,
This is not.
self-righteous kind of weirdo.
I heard they were an awesome group of girls.
They are. They're
Yeah,
pretty amazing.
Yeah. So, but why were you dusty? Like you're supposed to be in your Jeep.
Well, I have the top off, right? And it's dry.
And it's dry. So to tell it, I don't even know anything about this like trail. So talk about I don't care if we spend the entire episode. Let's just talk about this RimRock Trail. So first off, where did you get the idea? How did you get the girls? Tell us about the trip.
Well, I got the idea since I've moved to Colorado, learning all the trails and back roads. And one of the, I guess, the backcountry four-wheelers, one of his friends brought it up, and I thought it was interesting. It's a whole backcountry from Montrose all the way into Moab. It's 160 miles of backcountry and
Wow.
mining and history. It's not terribly rough. There are some little things you can get into, but it's not too terrible. We camped overnight. I picked a pretty awesome camp spot, and the girls absolutely adored the camp spot, had a great time. We bonded very well, changed some tires, did some winching, all of it.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
And documented, right?
of course.
Yeah, so the RimRock Trail, it's interesting because it's been out there for a long, long time. But a number of years ago, the Montrose Chamber of Commerce and the folks over in Moab worked together to really kind of formalize it, I guess. It's been roads and old dirt roads, mining roads, shelf roads, and they kind of put it all together, created some maps, and started to really advertise and promote it for tourism and that kind of stuff. So they've done a really good job. It's a pretty well marked trail now. It exists on a lot of different websites, but there's a whole lot of variety. Just like Colorado, just like Utah, there's desert, there's trees and mountains and lakes, and you go through a couple of towns that are old uranium mill tailings towns, and it's a great piece of ground.
Wow. So how many days did you take to get through it?
Well, you can do it in a day.
Well, yeah,
You
even
can.
when we were pre-running
That word
it,
"can" is very wide.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's very wide.
you'd have to be. I mean, I know
Bombing.
guys do it in side by sides and motorcycles on two wheelers, and they'll go and cover the whole thing in a day. But it's really a 2 day. But then you get into Moab and it's late on the second day. So 9 times out of 10, and then what these guys did is they camped over in Moab. So we ran a couple of us ran support. Rachel from Bartact and AJ were here. So me and him were the only guys. It was all the other women. We stayed out of their hair as best we could, and so we ran support. So while they were, we were making sure they were doing well and didn't need supplies or parts or anything like that. And then we met them in Moab and then stayed the night in Moab on the second day, and then took the group out and we did Hell's Revenge over in Moab on Sunday.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it was the girls that came from California
That
the
were part of
four
our
Jeeps
our
that were
Tillamook.
half of them were at our Tillamook
Oh, wow.
event. They came
Wow.
over and spent the night, and I cooked them all dinner, and we hung out and talked and got up early next day and shoved off from the house. I took them over some other little, not part of the trail, just some Montrose has a lot of big rock crawling trails, and I like it out there. It's beautiful. There's tons of shelf roads. There's canyons out there, and I wanted to run them by some of the extreme rock crawling trails we have to offer here in Montrose. And it's a really scenic little drive to begin the RimRocker Trail. And instead of bombing all the way through Columbine, I took what you call the Rubidoux.
The Rubidoux Plateau.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I took them up into the
Rubidoux
woods, into the
Plateau.
mountains.
Wow.
And there's some pretty good little rock crawling areas. Not too
So
technical.
yeah, they drive by the Montrose rock crawling trails of Die Tryon and Death Row and Topless and Scratch and Dent. All the extreme Montrose trails. There's a rim road that goes along all of those. So Jessy got to take them along that road and show them kind of where that stuff was. And then it joins up with the RimRocker and proceeds to go up the Uncompahgre Plateau.
Wow.
And then we ended our day about 3:00 at called the ballpark. It's a little bitty campground just on the other side of Nucla. It's in between Nucla and Natarita in the canyon, and it's by the Dolores Lip River. It runs right into the campground. It's maintained by the RimRocker volunteers. There's tons of them. They go only by donations. I think there's maybe 20 spots out there. Really nice. Each individual person takes care of their own camp spot. Like I said, they have donations only. The porta potties out there are super clean, immaculate. We were able to have a fire, so we sat out and enjoyed the river when we got off the trail because it was super hot and we were dirty. So we got out of the Jeeps and jumped in the river for about an hour, and then we continued to set up camp and all kind of came together and ate and made food and looked at the stars all night and saw some really cool shooting stars in the Milky Way and some really weird explosion things in the sky that I've never seen in my life. So it's kind of weird, but we enjoyed the night and
Yeah.
we got up the next day and put camp up and took some pictures, made some donations to the good folks with the RimRocker Trail that maintain that little campground, and took off up on the plateau again.
Wow. Yeah. That's awesome. So now, Corey, so you guys were just kind of like monitoring from afar, or?
So I put the spot tracker in Jesse's Jeep. So as long as I had internet, I could figure out where they were at. So I knew kind of, since from our pre-running, we kind of knew where their goal was to get to. And as long as they made it to that campground on the first day, I knew they were good. AJ and I actually came back to the house. We set them on their way, and then we came back here and kind of watched where they were at. Once they got to the campground, I knew they were good. The next morning, we took off from the house and then went and met them about a quarter of the way into their day. Captured some footage and made sure everybody was good. And then we went into Moab and just kind of waited. And they had an interesting afternoon. They had some tire repairs to make and things like that. So it worked out really well. There's the highway at a lot of spots is very close to that trail. Mm-hmm. You can see it, but you're on shelf roads, a couple hundred feet above the roads. So, it's kind of neat that this road is just part of those old mining roads that got pieced together, and they ended up coming down just outside of the LaSalle's. It comes down into where Area BFE is in Moab.
And I've never been back that far, so I was really impressed. It's really pretty out past BFE and all those other shelf roads and mining and
there you guys keep saying those shelf roads. Those are those.
Telling you need to come experience them.
We were talking about you yesterday. We took
really?
Yeah.
Yes, we were.
So half the group they took off. Some folks that were here from California, they started to head back. They were going to stop at Sand Hollow on their way home, and then 4 of them stayed here. And so yesterday it was kind of like, hey, we want to go into the San Juans, and just so happens that I know that area a little bit. So, so we took a group, there was a total of 4 rigs, I guess, and took them up into the San Juans. But we were going up Imogene Pass, and we were talking about you, and I told the story about Manson always talks about our shelf roads because a lot of people don't understand what a Colorado shelf road really is, and yeah, you
They
picture
open
that
their eyes.
you
They
picture
were
that
like,
straight wall with a little shelf sitting on it. And
hmm
that's where we drive.
That's it. There's no room for error.
No,
Mm-mm.
no, not so much.
There's I think back to, when you go in up in Moab, you'll know the trails better than I do. But when you go in to where you want to go up to Widowmaker, and that whole
On
area,
Metal Masher.
Metal Masher. So, and you go in off the road, and there was a parking lot there, and we did a trip up there. I think it was once with 4-wheel parts or whatever. Big, Now, when you go out and you go around and you see some of the arches, and you come down that shelf road,
Yep.
right? That's a shelf road, but it's a nice wide shelf road.
It's still
shelf road.
There's some spots.
So in my crazy days, because I was driving the red 4-door, I came down that thing at speed, like because you're going through the flatlands there where the arches are at, right? And I'm just having a blast, having fun through there, and I hit that, and I'm going down that thing at speed, like full. First off, pretty much presuming there's nobody coming up it, which was
Right.
which turned out to be to my benefit. But I think about that now, and it's only been like 8 years maybe of maturity, but it was enough to go, what the F was I thinking? Because I went down that thing like, oh, this is fun coming in, and you come in little turns and stuff, and you got a cliff right there, man.
Oh,
You make a
That's
mistake,
real.
you're going down.
bye.
Well, this has been, I mean,
So
this has
you
been
can't.
this has been an interesting experience even for me, and there's such a difference between a group of women and a group of men.
Mhm.
We typically, I just plan things different, and so does Jesse, but women are much more laid back with so many things, and we're very I'm very detail oriented, as you know, and I think guys in general, we want to know kind of what we're doing, where we're going, and the smaller details aren't as important. Whereas I feel like at the group of women, they were very much into, this is a social thing. As long as we're having fun, we're good. Like, and that was very hard for me because to try and, okay, so tomorrow, what are you guys going to do? Well, we're going to get in our Jeeps and we're going to drive. And I'm like losing my mind.
We were like, are we going to stay in Moab? Or are we not? And the girls were like, we don't know. And by the time the second day, they were like talking.
Okay.
They have never been to Moab. So, of course, I had to stay in Moab for a day.
So let's be honest here. Yes, you had a great group of women who were kind of relaxed about the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you could say that about all women.
Not
And I don't think you can say that about all guys. I think
women like spontaneating. They like surprises. They like spontaneity.
They like being spontaneous, but I've worked maybe it's just I had an ex-girlfriend who ended up being a business partner who was very detail oriented, and she needed to know everything that was happening. And I ended up marrying a woman like that. My wife, I love her to death, but she can't simply take something like, hey, this can is round. Well, but why?
Right.
Why did they choose that size? Like,
why can't it be square?
Why can't why does it have to be tall like that? Why that color? I mean, she wants to know the details. But the difference is at the beach, like, Corey, when you and I were out at Lincoln City, just hanging out on the beach, she lasts maybe a half hour before her mind is elsewhere and needing to do stuff. She can't relax like that. And doesn't matter. Now, when Corey and I are doing events, or we guys are all together doing events, right? Like, I am definitely thinking about things because I'm thinking about the experience. But if it wasn't an event, like, I don't care. I'm like, I don't care about like, oh, okay, it's time to get up. All right, better do. Unless I'm trying to if I'm just being myself, I don't care.
Right.
But if I'm not, and if I have a responsibility and a role, then I'm hypersensitive about it, right? Then I'm like, what are we doing? What are we doing? I was going.
These guys literally, they were killing me. So because we left, so AJ and I, my complete plan was to go over there, capture some footage for them, make sure they made it into Utah, and I was coming home. And so when we left here, literally, I took like 4 bottles of water. That's it. And we got, to where they were going to be in Utah, and it was like, well, we're going to go to Moab and stay the night. And you should take us on a trail or something. And I'm like, what? So wait a minute. And then it was, well, maybe we should stay in Moab 2 nights. I'm like, look, guys, I need more information. I can't just like be gone. And we didn't have any clothes. We didn't prepare at all. And you know what? It worked out really, really well. But yeah, it was really hard for me to just go.
It was hard, but
Never.
you weren't the organizer. You were just
Nope.
you were the
Nope.
guy just being along. And
Yep.
how often? How awesome. So is this going to be an annual event now? Can we
so.
count on this happening?
I have a lot of people that were remorseful for not coming. And of course, there are a lot of guys, we'll dress up in tutus and put makeup on if you let us go all day long. So yeah, I'm going to be, and I have made lots of notes and suggestions from him. But again, women are a little different, and I had a feel for what they kind of wanted. And women like adventure, and they like to have surprises, and they want to be laid back and not so structured.
Yeah.
Because we do so many structured things, and it's like we don't have time to enjoy it because we have all this stuff.
Right.
You want them to have a good time.
I'm so glad you guys had a great time. That's awesome. How awesome is that?
Good.
Now, I think you just hit on something, though. What do you think, Corey? A drag queen ModernJeeper Adventures?
Yeah, there you go.
So it's a girls' trip, but it'll.
What if we did? No, I'm talking about something different. What was the name of that? God, what is it? The dance in like junior high school where they.
Where the women, Sadie Hawkins.
We should do a Sadie Hawkins.
Whatever.
We'll do a Sadie Hawkins ModernJeeper Adventure.
We should.
We got to switch roles.
It's I'm
not sure we're going to pay for that, but you never know.
Well, yeah, there definitely is that. It's such a good, this has been one of those years where things are changing all the time, and even something as simple as going out on that trail. We've got a situation now where there's other roads now closed down. Red Mountain Pass is under construction, and I don't know. It's so hard to plan things, and for when things do run well and easy, you kind of go, was that just luck of the draw? Because things are changing. I mean, you and I, we've experienced shipping issues and delays, and we have so even Uray. So JJUSA has an event this coming weekend in Uray. South of Uray is closed. You can't go over Red Mountain Pass except for like 2 hours a day, 8:30 to 9:30, or no,
12 to 1.
12 to 1 is when they're open, or after 5:30. That's it.
So again,
it's what's that?
How is JJUSA advising people to get through?
No idea.
Probably not. Maybe.
Yeah, I
mean, there were a lot of people surprised because people don't check.
Yeah, so we were up in Yankee Boy Basin in that area yesterday, and ran into a number of people who, so the other side of Imogene Pass is closed outside of Telluride, so you can't go all the way over, and so people use that as an access to get to Telluride. It's closed. It's going to be closed for quite a while, so you can go up, but it's one way back out. And people were up on the trails going, "Hey, we didn't know that the trails were closed." So I guess one of my subjects should be, check before you go. And you got to check a lot of websites. I wish I could tell you all there was one place you can go and go, "Hey, are the roads closed?" The Imogene Pass being closed for they're repairing a bridge that was in pretty bad shape. But the Uray Mountain Pass, we just found out about that the other day. And so we're going to have to we're going to flip our schedule for our event because we can't get to the trail.
Not the first day.
Yeah, the first day.
They should be done. They're using helicopters to put up new power lines through there, and it's rightfully so. It's pretty gnarly out that way. But yeah, a lot of people were surprised, and the Imogene Pass on the Telluride side they're shelf roads, and there's one bridge that's always so sketchy, and I'm like praying that it doesn't collapse every time we go over it, and that's the bridge they're repairing, so they closed that side of the trail down.
Wow.
So
yesterday. That was just yesterday.
Yeah,
It's
just started-
We
spontaneous.
knew about that.
It's
We didn't know about
fun.
the Red Mountain
It's
Pass,
adventurous. Not
That's
sure what's
right.
going on. It's
That's
adventurous,
right.
right?
Spontaneity. Us
Awesome.
guys, we need to lighten up.
So. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right.
Lighten up,
Just
man.
roll with it. It'll be fine.
I'm trying to lighten up. I've gained a lot of weight.
Yeah, right.
This what has now been 6.5 weeks. I think it's been 6.5 weeks since the injury, or has it been? No, actually,
Yeah.
no. That was since the surgery. It's been 6.5 weeks because it was
wow.
the injury was on the 10th. Was July 10th.
Oh,
So
okay.
Okay.
yeah, yeah. So 4 5.
So how
Yeah.
long you got to go?
Today, which for our listeners, today is we're recording this on Tuesday. Today I am going to see the surgeon and taking off the cast, hopefully forever. And the next step is the boot. And then from there, it's physical therapy to learn how to walk on it again because I'm scared.
Yeah.
I'm a little scared.
Absolutely. Yeah, no doubt.
I get these moments with my kids where they know that I can't go after them. So they play let's irritate daddy until he gets mad and angry and throws something. And so because my Marine voice worked for a couple weeks and then it doesn't work anymore. They got immune to my Marine voice. So I got to change it up. But but Jack was doing something he shouldn't be doing. I won't get into the details. I was getting angry with him and he was simply ignoring me. And I was so in the moment of just being angry that I stood up to walk after him.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, and I'm going down on the ground.
Yeah,
and-
wait, I can't do that.
Can't do that. Can't do that.
And he probably knew that as well.
It was all calculated.
They're smarter than
Yeah,
you
he's
think.
like, yeah, come and get me, Dad.
Yeah, he's calculated.
Peg leg. Come and get
He
me.
does that at the upstairs. He's at the top of the stairs. Like he'll stand there, and he's supposed to be in bed. And he'll just stand there looking down. Like there's only so much like yelling I can do, or cajoling, or bribing I can do. And he wants me to come upstairs after him. Like that's come on. And my peg leg will let me get up there, but it's like, yeah, wait, don't run away. I'll be there in a minute.
I'm on my way.
I'll be there in a minute. I'm on my way. I have gotten pretty good though about it. I'm able to chase him around the house now.
Oh, there you go.
Peg leg. Oh yeah, I've got speed with that thing.
You need like a, I don't know, soft dart gun or something.
A Nerf gun. Boom.
We got a couple of those. I can hoard it. I can have a monopoly on the Nerf guns in the house.
Yeah, and then you could like make put like, I don't know, paint the end of the dart or something and be like, yeah, you want a mark on your shirt or your head or your.
Wait. Are paintball, is that washable? Can you wash paintball off of a wall?
Can you turn down the speed of a paintball gun?
Yeah, can you not have it hurt them so much?
Right.
Does it really leave a bruise?
If it don't burst, it's
yeah.
It's not hard enough.
If it don't burst, it's not hard enough. If what doesn't burst, I have a boo-boo. You're not bleeding. There's no bruises.
You're fine.
I only shot you in the ass. You're okay, kid.
So we actually got something Jeep related done in a good way to Jesse's Jeep.
Oh God.
Oh.
She's been fighting, and a lot of JKs have this issue, and so I think it's a good idea that we talk about it. Overheating. The early JKs with the 3.8, they all had heating and cooling issues. And her Jeep, of course, we replaced the radiator because we thought it was probably full of mud and junked up and that kind of thing. We did that. That was about a year ago even.
Then on Holy Cross, I had, my
Holy
fan.
Cross,
we thought it was the relay. I got a new relay. It worked.
Put a new relay in it. The relay that is actually a temperature controller that is attached to the radiator itself. We swapped that out with a part from Mopar and seemed to pretty much fix the problem. We've changed the thermostat. We changed the thermostat housing. We've checked hoses. It's kind of like if this doesn't fix it, it's kind of must be the water pump thing. Well, it's interesting. There's actually another relay in a JK behind the driver's side headlight. Well, that's a 5-pin relay there, and we found that. I found it I was just looking at online solutions, and we replaced that relay, and hey, it works. And well, wait a second, no, the
drive it a day.
The fan was just kind of turning like this, not very fast. She took it to town, went to town, and came back, and it was overheating again. We've replaced everything in that Jeep except the fan itself. Now,
Mm.
it's interesting to me that the fan would work when whatever the relay or whatever we thought the issue was, it would kick on and the fan would spin full speed, but it wouldn't last. And we didn't know that because we couldn't tell when she's overheating, we'd pull over and the fan would be stopped and it was overheating. And we thought, okay, there's an issue with the relay. Well, this is that relay that sits behind the driver's headlight. It's got a cool little bracket on it so that you can screw it to. It's really kind of a pain in the butt to get to, but it's just your standard 5-pin relay. And I had forgotten, and I had thought, well, you can take a standard voltmeter, your standard regular little. Yep, I got my little meter out, and I couldn't remember how to actually do it, but it's pretty simple. You can go through, you can test a relay to see if it's working or not. There's just a little magnetic coil in there that pulls a switch to one side or the other to send power when it senses it. I happen to have another relay in my mess of stuff in the garage. Swapped in that relay. Same. So that fan is kind of a modular fan. You can get an aftermarket Dorman O'Reilly's product for about $115, $120. That replaces the whole fan shroud and the fan itself. Now that doesn't replace. You can actually, from the stock fan, you can take the Mopar motor out of it and replace it. That motor's about $150. I think it's interesting. The Mopar motor is $150. The entire shroud, fan, motor, everything from Dorman is 110, 20, whatever it was. We put that new fan in there.
Well, back up. So when we figured out the fan motor was crapping out, because we'd tap on it and then finally.
Yeah, if I hit it with a hammer, full fan.
So I'm calling around, and nobody in town, Montrose, because it'd be an hour to even go to Grand Junction or anywhere else.
This is the day before her RimRocker event.
So I was already packing the Gladiator. It was 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and I was like, screw it. I said, might as well pack the Gladiator.
I told her to take the Gladiator, so she took all of her stuff out of her Jeep and she put it in the Gladiator.
Oh, no.
Everybody was here except for Rachel and AJ, who they were still en route from Ohio. So as it's 8 o'clock at night, and they're still not here. They're going to auto shops as they pass Denver, stopping in every little town, going to an O'Reilly's or an AutoZone and seeing what they could find.
I was like, don't worry about it. But she was determined because she has a 2-door JK. She wanted me to drive my JK. And I wanted to too.
So they found a relay, which I actually didn't need, but AJ was like, somebody had a relay. We picked up a relay for you. They got to Grand Junction and they found the fan. They got to the house at midnight, the night before the RimRocker. So I went out, we met him. I'm like, look, get some sleep. You guys are getting up early in the morning to head out. Next morning, I got up pretty early, went out in the garage.
I made breakfast.
Pretty simple deal to take out the stock radiator, put in the new fan, or I'm sorry, the fan. Put in the new fan, turned it on, turned the AC on, and the fan immediately comes on. Done, fixed.
That's it.
Literally as a 15-minute job.
Yeah.
So a year, 2 years of frustration and dealing with this really just changed. I can't even
use my AC on the trail at all.
It
would overheat.
She's never been able to use her AC because the Jeep would just immediately overheat. So I don't know how long that fan has been just kind of sometimes spinning, but this new fan, she was able to use her AC all the way there, and yeah.
Well, that's my 4-door had an overheating issue constantly too. I mean, it would just be going fine, and then like one time John went to take it to an event that was a few hours drive away, and he had to turn around because it's overheating on the way there. But I also had the RIP supercharger on it.
It had a supercharger on it. Yeah.
So we had a constant problem with that, but it was everything from replacing the cap. Like at one point, cap didn't have any pressure on it, right?
Yep.
The reservoir. replacing the reservoir because it ultimately had a leak or something on it, right? All these little things you're replacing to try to get it to fix. And Scott Ernst was constantly dealing with that, Now, the RIP supercharger obviously was part of the problem. And we had other issues with that supercharger that we had to constantly deal with, but overheating was a constant issue with that. I don't know if you ever.
Away. I mean, the fact that the fan was working and then wouldn't work, and I just never. And I would throw the meter on it, and I could see it was getting 12 volts, but the fan wasn't coming on, and I'm like, okay, well, that's got to be the relay in somewhere in this loop. It's not being told to go, and then it turns out like. I mean, we on Holy Cross, we were dumping cups of water on the thing, and all of a sudden the fan would come on. Oh, okay.
Oh,
so the fan's not broken because it's spinning fine.
Yeah.
And then a day later, it wouldn't turn at all.
It was just old and tired, and it was like, oh yeah, wait, okay, oh yeah, okay, hold on a second. Let me work a little bit.
Yeah, it's like I'm good for a little bit.
All right, I'm done. All right, you're good. All right. Oh, there's somebody who's watching me now. I'm gonna go back. The hood's closed. I can turn off.
So
wait, the hood's open. I better work again.
The morning of her event, so I'm like, you better go unload the Gladiator, and so she repacked everything, and by I think it was still 8 o'clock in the morning.
8:30 when
they were on the road, and
well, that's impressive. That's impressive. That sounds like that's one of those classic stories.
It's a Jeep thing.
It is a Jeep thing.
Yeah,
it's an event thing.
Right.
You know how many customers is like, oh, hey, I need to order this thing. Like, okay, good, it'll be there. Oh, wait, I'm leaving on Saturday. Well, we'll try to get to, they're like putting the track bar in or a new tie rod in like Friday night, getting ready for their Saturday trip. Almost as bad as like, it's the classic story of the guys who have always, and let's look at Ultra 4 racing. Years ago, I always thought this was the dumbest thing in the world. And I love all the Ultra 4 racers and friends and stuff, but it's like, oh yeah, so-and-so is building a new rig for King of the Hammers.
Right.
So it's not going to get any trail. It's not going to get any like pre-running time.
Yeah,
it's
in
not
December.
Get shaken. Yeah, it's going to debut at King of the Hammers. How did that go for you? Well, transmission didn't. Yeah.
Right.
Well, I had to skip out on my whole week of prep to go see my new grandbaby. So, and then
you had to. Geez, like that was a struggle.
It was pretty awesome.
How's the grandbaby doing?
She's doing awesome. Mama's still a little scared, and she's new, so yeah, but she's a sweet little thing.
That's the way it is. First one, you're scared. The second one, you're more practiced. The third one, you don't really
care
anymore.
You care, but you don't. You're a little.
You
more
care.
relaxed.
You're like, every day I have to catch myself and go. Like Vivian, the little daughter is and she is learning not from me, not from mommy. She's learning from
the
Jack
other
and
two.
Josh. Yeah. And so, like, when she throws stuff and when she has tantrums and when I say come here and she walks the other direction, that's like learning from them, right? And so it probably is just teaching me that I'm not giving her enough attention. She's supposed to be daddy's little girl, and she's not. Well, so I'm so excited about the RimRocker event. I'm so glad that worked out great, and these ladies get to go out and do this thing and not be interfered with a bunch of smelly guys.
Right.
Now, that being said, we are going to be a bunch of smelly guys at the end of this month, because it's only 2 weeks away.
It's next week.
It's next week.
I know. I said, where did the calendar go? What?
Literally this morning, I got up and I'm like, wait. It's next Thursday.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's not the end of the month. It's like,
next Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, good thing I sent you the spreadsheet last night.
Yeah, you know what? It's going to be, that event is going to be awesome. We have a lot of options for that event. It's because of the time of year. The trees are starting to change already. It's going to be, it was beautiful up there yesterday. The nights are cooling off, so it's not going to be screaming hot during the day.
Wow.
It's going to be a really scenic run. Yeah.
Stop talking. I don't.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Just come on.
Yeah, it's the whole getting out there thing. Especially, do you guys have your real IDs?
Real?
Yes.
You have your real ID? Of course you do. You're Corey Osborne. You plan ahead.
Yes.
What about you, Jesse? Do you have your real ID?
With the star. Your new driver's license with the star on it and all
No, I do not.
She does not.
She does not. Yeah,
I didn't have time when I was in Oklahoma to get it done.
And my driver's license just expired on my birthday last week, right?
Yeah.
So I'm getting like the replacement because obviously for foster I have to have that. So that's coming. But like,
right.
I'll get the real ID. Well, last year they extended it out a year.
Yeah.
And now it's like next month you're supposed to have it, or else you can't fly. I'm like,
so I
had to think about it. Like, is there any place I want to fly anytime soon?
No,
not really.
So Colorado actually switched over a number of years ago.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
There was only a few states that hadn't, and Oklahoma was one of those too. So.
In California, wonderful California.
Yeah.
Today is election day. By the time you guys hear this,
you have to have an appointment in Oklahoma. You have to have an appointment.
Yeah, you can't just go down there.
Yeah, you. This down here, the same thing's true here. Like you can go online and do all your uploading and all your documents and everything to do that.
I need to check that out.
And then you still set an appointment to bring the actual. Like they'll do all the prep work, and you got to come down and actually show your physical documents are real, right?
Right.
And it's a combination of documents. Copy of your mortgage, copy of your birth certificate, right? And all that stuff. Yeah. Like, but yeah. So for all of our listeners, when you hear this on Thursday, you'll know the results of the election today, because today is California's recall Gavin Newsom.
So I read an article this morning that said, yeah, he's probably going to win.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Like, it depends who you talk to, because it's obviously different things. The polling numbers are in his favor because most of the ballots going in via absentee are registered Democrats. Gotcha. So they're making the assumption. However, if you talk to most Republicans out here, they're not trusting their ballots. So we have there's a couple of issues. There's at least one county where the precinct location, and you're seeing it pop up on the media, well, on some media, where one precinct, and literally it was 70% of the people coming in to vote had already voted. Like they're coming in to vote and being told, no, you already voted.
So they're trying to double dip.
Yeah, it's like, no, it's not. It's like somebody else voted them in before they even got in.
Wow. No.
So all that does is lend itself up to, if he does
win, cheated once, we could do it again. Oh,
yeah. I've always said that in California, and here's the thing, guys, across the country, California has a machine. It's a Democrat machine. I've played this machine. I was doing politics out here since the early 90s. Right. And it's a machine. If the machine got behind Gavin Newsom, he would win. If the machine didn't get behind him because they figured they didn't like him either, he wouldn't win. What he's been doing for the last several months with the $70 million that he's raised, probably close to $100 million now, and for the recall, there's no limit. That's the thing on the campaign finance. There's no limit if you're being recalled on how much money you can raise to fight your recall. So he's been like $70-80 million he's raised to fight this from companies like PG&E, which is the big battle in California, right? And all these other lobbyists, which, by the way, the PG&E lobbyists were the ones that were in the French Laundry with him when he was having his maskless dinner at a high-end $1,000 plate restaurant, when the rest of us couldn't even go to McDonald's, right? So, but that they've all given him a ton of money. And so you spend the last several months basically going to all these other groups, the teachers unions, the farmers union, the farm workers union, all the big unions, the big powerhouses that control the state, and saying, what can I give you? What do you want? Right? Let's make a deal. So once they actually started getting into the process is when the machine starts working, and that machine includes getting the vote out, getting the people out, figuring out whatever they can do, whether it's taking ballots or in this case, double dipping or pre-voting for somebody. So it's going to be a big challenge. Who knows what happens at the end? You've got guys like, literally, I just saw a piece. Larry Elder, who could be the first black man, and we don't know. We'll know on Thursday. I don't know today. Could be the first black governor of California, is being attacked. There is literally a piece in the LA Times where it's a picture of him with his hand, what looks like he's slapping a woman. And the hand's right now. The headline is Larry Elder involved in altercation, right? And that headline is from the fact that some lady in a gorilla mask threw an egg at him. She was a white woman in a gorilla mask that threw an egg at a black man. Of course, he's a Republican black man, so it doesn't matter. So they used that headline, and then they put this picture of him where it was the camera caught him just as he was reaching over to hug somebody, but the camera catches his hand. Is like he's got a hand against he's a black man with his hand against this woman's face, just because of where they caught the photo, and they posted that online as the
happens
LA
way too many times.
Well, and that's the problem with our society, and it's everything. It's where do we get our information from, and even down to how to test a relay. I mean, stupid things like people. Who do you trust? And again, that's why I think Jeepers are an interesting community. We all tend to support ourselves and get information from each other. The political arena and the social media arena and the big players in media across our country all seem to have the same
control and destructiveness
of us. And
so it's funny because there's some, I mean, you can go back 30, 40 years and you're going to see the same thing about the media, because back then it was the three big CBS, ABC, NBC controlled everything. They were the media control, right? They were the big conglomerates. They owned a bunch of stuff. Then GE owned them. It's been a constant battle. Now we're just in a situation where we have access to a lot of information.
Right.
A lot of stuff I'm learning now. I'm just like, we've talked about TikTok last week, and it's amazing. It's like the new Twitter, in that people are actually able to share video and stuff there and not be censored out. Interestingly enough, because it's Chinese owned, but they're not being censored out by Facebook or Twitter.
Right.
There's a doctor I follow on Twitter who posted something, and Joe Rogan shared it about him basically calling Fauci an outright liar. Like, he is lying and he knows it. I click on the link from Joe Rogan. It's not there anymore.
Yeah, it's gone. It's been taken down.
It's been taken down. The beautiful thing about Jeeps and Jeepers, guys, is we are all great people. I had somebody send me an email or send me a message after the anniversary of 9/11. He was a little perturbed that I put up a graphic that had that I made. There's a graphic we use in MetalCloak, and it's got an American flag and a Jeep on it. And I've used that graphic for email headers and stuff for a long time, Pride in America. So I thought, hey, why don't I do this? So I threw a little cityscape in there, New York cityscape, and a couple of the lines looking like the tower lights, and I added "We Will Never Forget," and I threw it on there because it's a graphic we've used a lot. He was upset about it, thought it was tacky that I did that. They was commercializing the event. I put it forward as, you know what, and in different points of view, but I put it forward as, I was trying to take ownership of it. Anybody can go out there and say, "We will never forget." But taking ownership, meaning that as a company, we will never forget. We're putting our name on that statement, right? It's not just a social media post or a generic image, right?
That's right.
And I could see both ways. That's fine. But one thing I took exception with in his message, because I was talking about how other people have responded positively to that. And he's a Jeeper himself, but then he goes into this diatribe about how Jeepers just follow, and they just are fanboys, et cetera, and like have no real conscience about anything. And I had to take exception with that, because I told him, I said, Jeepers are some of the most incredible people I've ever met. And I don't care what your political bent is, but it seems when we're all on the trail, we're all Jeeping, that common bond has created something where we're all incredibly nice. We enjoy it. We're looking at nature. We're trying to take care of ourselves. We're not being a bunch of buttholes. And it's just, I feel blessed that we've met so many great people that are Jeepers.
So going up into the San Juans yesterday, we ran into a lot of side-by-side folks and a lot of motorcyclists and that kind of thing. And it dawned on me, it's very interesting. When we pull up a side-by-side to another Jeep going the other direction, 9 times out of 10, the windows are down. You say, "Hey man, how you doing? There's 3 of us," or whatever. You talk to them. Side-by-sides, same thing for the most part. Like yesterday, every side-by-side guy would come by, they'd wave, we'd talk. "You guys having a good day?" "Yep, everything's fine." I don't know. It's interesting to me that the motorcyclists, They've got their helmet on, their goggles, and they're going as fast as they possibly can go to get to wherever it is they're going. And it's kind of funny, and they're throwing rocks, and I don't think they really care. And I think that's unfortunate. But it was just that quick little, it's a different aspect. And I get it. We've been with Jeepers too, who don't really seem to have an awareness of everybody else around them. But for the most part, we're a pretty friendly bunch. And if somebody's having problems, we would help them. And it was just an unfortunate thing that I thought, those motorcyclists, we don't even know who they are. You can't even see who they are because they're head to toe, RoboCop, and it's just an interesting thing. We're a social bunch, and
they do some dangerous stuff to get around us sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes
it's
not the
best.
Let
us give us a chance to get out of the way. They're just so gung ho and
get to where they want to be. Yeah.
Well, it is interesting that, because we've seen that, we see that going through trails, and guys, you kind of give the call out to others. Hey, motorcycles on the way, or coming on the left. And
right.
But you're right. There is definitely Corey's getting his pen wet.
I'm writing.
There is definitely a something to be said about being on the trail and respecting and seeing and enjoying other people on the trail. Now, there are always yahoos that are sitting there, whether it's Jeep owners or Toyota owners, or maybe there's future Bronco owners that are all yahoos. But for the most part, I think being able to be together, respect the trail, and have fun, because it was just a common bond, right? And everything we can do to teach others to enjoy the area, and to take their time, and to be it's all good. It's all good if we can do that, which is, things like Skills Day is what we try to teach people.
Right.
Is about care for the environment. It's not just going out, hey, how to drive your Jeep. It's actually going and learning about trail care, trail maintenance, about bring it in and bring it out, right? And all that good stuff.
Yeah, no doubt.
Hey, I got a couple. I got some fun tech stuff for a couple little things.
Cool.
I do occasional on some of there's some websites out there where you do startup investing, right? And I've done a couple where it's just little things, and I'll do some on some tech things, and it's small little investments, but it's little startup investing. But it's kind of funny because a couple of them actually give you, it's almost like a Kickstarter that you're investing in them, and you're gaining shares in their company, but then they also send you things like you would for Kickstarter. And I don't do it for that. Like, it's just, here it is, here's some thing. And if it succeeds down the road, great. If it doesn't, no big deal. But so one of these ones I got, this is a glass. I think I may have shown this before, but this is from Clearwater Distilling. And it's just a little glass for drinking some good bourbon or something. But it says Clearwater Distilling and investor on the bottom. And that was cool. We got that. And then the other day, there's a Hawaiian brewery called Ola Brew that I put some money into, and I got this growler, big growler. Now, and it says Ola Brew, and it says investor on it, right? So you get this.
That's cool.
And you got they sent a little pint glass.
Nice.
And then they also a T-shirt, but yeah, it was like this nice growler, which actually is, this keeps cold water cold for a long time.
That's
it's kind of funny. I don't drink, so it's kind of funny. I invest in these companies, but I know other people do, so there's probably a good thing.
You must be really thirsty.
Yes.
These are all the glasses of things.
If you don't drink, you're probably really dehydrated.
I don't drink. I lap it up. There's a difference. Dogs don't drink. They lap. Right? And then on another tech thing, so I've put some money into crypto, but mainly as an investor, right? So I was like, well, how do you deal with it? So I recently got, this is a good thing and a bad thing, but I finally got a hardware wallet. So this little thing here is a hardware wallet for crypto. The problem is, I realized I've lost flash drives before, and this is about the size of a flash drive. Now, it's pretty incredible at what it can hold and how much crypto it can hold on it. But it's called it's a Ledger Nano X, and it's secure, so you can actually have for like long-term hold on it. But I started looking at this and realizing maybe this is a mistake, because it's cool, it's cute, it's small, it's easily portable, but I think maybe I need something the size of a suitcase so I don't lose it.
Right. It needs a wrist strap or a little chain with a hook through it or something.
I know. I was either like needs to be embedded somehow, like, attached to me someplace. But
That's awesome.
yeah, so I'm just been playing with that and trying to actually see and understand NFTs and crypto, and I think I want to try to create some Jeep NFTs.
Oh yeah,
you and I can work on that. We'll create
Yeah.
some Jeep NFTs, because Jeepers are into crypto. Probably not.
Right. Well, and we do have upcoming. We still are working out some details, and we need to. Matson and I actually need to chat a little bit more about it. But I know that we'll have some stuff with this company, and they really want to play with us more. So yeah,
I haven't
we
seen
need
that.
to figure out some details, and we'll make sure that I've had this for 4 years, 5
That little
years.
square, really?
And yeah, and it's
Is it one of those ice cubes?
it is an ice cube, and it lights up, and of course it's from our friends at Bestop.
So it is does it have gel in it? Like you can actually throw it into it and frease it?
I believe so.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know what that says because it's really
Something
small.
cold.
Yeah.
Something.
So almost, it's like the
Lidded
size of
ice
our
cube.
ducks. Now I feel like our ducks should have lights in them.
Yeah, right. I mean,
Yeah.
and this is actually an emergency marker you can put outside on the ground by your Jeep in case you're in help or needing help.
Have to drink in
Or it's even better, just like hold it up in your glass. You need help because you're
Right.
out.
Help me. This is empty.
Help me. My glass is empty. Man.
I gotta
what?
throw out that it's events back to back. I still feel like I'm in either West Virginia or Pigeon Forge. My brain is still not caught up to even what we've done a week ago, and now we're done with Jesse's Girls event. We've got the San Juan event coming up next weekend. We've got a group coming from Tennessee. We've got some more Colorado stuff. We've got let's see. I opened my calendar and I got to give a shout out to our friend John Kappa. His birthday is tomorrow, Wednesday. And Ricky Artis's birthday is on Thursday.
And they just had their baby a day before my grandbaby came.
They just had a new baby as well. Yes.
Ricky did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. How is that? Like, that's not like 12 for them or something?
That's 3.
3. But he's only like 30, so.
But is he?
He's actually like 46 or something.
Yeah, he'd love you. He just wanted more labor for his land.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's just gonna start popping them out just to have free labor. Yeah.
Workers. Yeah.
Wow. Well, happy birthday to our good friends out there. It brings up something you were talking about that. When I injured myself, it's because there wasn't really enough elasticity in my muscles anymore, right? So like 10 years ago, it probably would have just been a sprain or a pulled muscle, and this time it was well, the same thing's true about our brains. Like if you're not 10 years ago, events back and back and back and back, you've been like no big deal, but elasticity of the brain, it can start going. Like now it's whoa, what the heck, I'm still stuck here because your mind isn't just back into it just doesn't move as quickly. I know it's a fact for me. I mean, I ramble on sometimes. Like I feel like Joe Biden, right? Where's my elasticity of my brain?
That's what it is. I'm gonna use that. I'm sorry, I can't have this conversation because my brain is no longer elastic. No longer elastic enough.
So the girls asked about you too. The girls.
Yeah, well,
see how you were doing and how you were getting along. And
oh, good. Yes, I've been hobbling. Yeah,
we talked about it.
At least once or twice a week, John Mock sends me a message saying, "Hey, how's the ankle?" Yeah, he's everybody's been great and gracious and asking about it. So, but 10-second decision brings a 2-month adventure, and things I would have learned that I never thought I would learn, during this period of time. How much fun it is, for instance, to run around the shop on a scooter.
Yeah, you would have never known.
You would have never known. Would have never
all
discovered
experiences.
Absolutely. We never discovered the I walk, my knee, and walk into places and people just looking at it going, wow, what's that? I've never seen that before. So all these great new experiences and all part of the adventures of life. We must embrace them, including like we would never have known that simply changing a fan would have
Yeah.
fixed the problem.
9
Right?
times out of 10, you start at the easiest thing when something goes wrong, and
Right.
you work your way through
Right.
it. And actually, that whole system is pretty simple. But
Right.
how many things can you change? And of course, usually it's the last one you do that's going to make the biggest difference. So
Well, usually the last thing you change is the thing that fixes the problem. Isn't that amazing?
yeah,
Right.
Isn't
Right.
that
Because how
cool?
many times have you just like changed your thermostat? Like just,
Right.
just
Yeah.
you know,
Changed it again.
yeah,
Yeah.
just change again. Just do it again.
Because the fan was kicking on and off, so we were like, well,
Yeah.
maybe it's that.
Maybe it's
Yeah.
just stuck,
And that
And
was
maybe it's installed upside
30
down
minute
because nobody's ever done
turning.
that.
right?
Right. Yeah.
Install it upside down.
Yeah. Pull it out, throw in a boiling water in your house just to see that it actually changes. Does this work? It works. Of course it works. Throw it back in there. Old school. Well, well, friends, anything else you guys want to share with us?
No, we're in full blown prepare mode for
Again.
the Colorado event now, and
Mhm.
going through maps and old history and yeah, getting ready for that. Did it just get dark in here?
It did. All of
Yeah,
a sudden,
I
like it
think
just
we
got
hit
dark
a-
on you.
We hit a.
I thought I had a
cloud.
brain aneurysm or something. What's going on?
I
Well,
thought you-
y'all are missing
because I
out on
thought you turned off your
Corey's,
light.
trail guiding expertise, and everybody just loves his commentary and his history. So
That's awesome.
y'all
That's
are gonna miss
awesome.
out if you don't register.
Yeah, in fact, I just
Yes.
got done with my notes.
That's your notes for
Colorado.
Colorado? Wow. Dang. This is awesome. This is awesome. You're definitely taking it to a new level. Guys, you don't
Yep.
get this anyplace else. You don't get color commentary. You don't get a true description
Right.
there. You're not going to come out being more educated than when you went in.
You're gonna
It's
feel
not
all
just
kinds
about-
of smarter.
All
Mhm.
kinds of smarter.
It won't
Yep.
be any information that's relevant or useful anywhere else in the world, but
That's okay.
that's okay.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong
That's
with
right.
that. You can have it. You can do it. All right. Well, Modern Jeepers, thank you again for joining us for another great episode of the Modern Jeeper Show. You know how to get a hold of us. Matson at MetalCloak.com, Corey at MetalCloak.com, Jessy at MetalCloak.com, and at ModernJeeperAdventures.com. Corey, are there any, as of Thursday, are there going to be any spots open, or are we completely booked for the Colorado journey?
We've got a couple. We're the house property is probably full at this point, but there's still there's lots of hotels and places to stay in the area. So, but yeah, there's a spot or two still left that if they want to stay off site.
Okay. So yeah, you got to register right away if you hear this and you want to register, but probably Monday's the last day or Sunday
Yeah.
or Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Monday would be absolute last day to register to be a part of this event. If you do want to join us, then look at the next event being Death Valley.
Yeah.
Death Valley. In
And that's
October.
going to be, we've already got quite a few people, and we're already planning for next year's Death Valley trips, and the dates may be a
Right.
little bit later than our typical event, but we'll talk more about that in the coming weeks. Yeah, again, we're mixing it up. We're probably going to do things that we haven't done in the past, and that's kind of just the nature of the way we do stuff.
That's what makes it fun. Got to keep
That's
it
right.
interesting. All right, my friends. Well, check us out at ModernJeeper.com for the latest articles and look forward to stuff, especially the article on the RimRocker trails. You can see
Yep.
all the good stuff the girls are doing. And otherwise, we will see you on the trails.
Cheers.
See ya.